So let's break down the debates with you. Overall impressions.
The spin that goes afterwards and how you're characterized in the news media in many ways is just as important as the performance in the debate. So, like, for instance, like tonight, say goodbye. Say goodbye to Andrew Yang. Goodbye, Andrew.
Okay.
Because when they say you're getting $1,000 a person that's $3.2 trillion a year, and he looked mortified that it was that much.
He'd never done the math.
Like he'd never done the math. Like, oh God, that much? I can't do that. How about 500? You know, like.
Yeah, what's the math? Give me the math. $1,000 a month. Everybody.
$1,000 a month. Headline costs about $3 trillion a year.
$3 trillion. Where's that come from?
Well, the first thing is it's not actually $3 trillion. And the reason why it's not $3 trillion is that if you look at what we're currently doing, we're spending about $1.5 trillion right now on 126 welfare programs and Social Security. And so if you show up to someone's door and say, hey, here's a dividend of $1,000 a month, but if you're already getting more than $1,000 in stuff, we're not just going to stack it on top. You know, we're just going to say you're guaranteed $1,000, and if you're already getting more, then this doesn't touch you. You can keep your current stuff. So the $3 trillion actually shrinks a lot very fast because of the fact that about half of Americans are already getting various income support from the government. So the real price tag is closer to about $1.8 trillion if you say everyone who's 18 and up. Now, for context, the entire U.S. economy is now $20 trillion, up $5 trillion in the last 12 years, and the federal budget's $4 trillion. So you're looking at $1.8 trillion. It's a lot of money, but it's actually manageable. And one of the things that I haven't heard discussed here with you is that when you put money into people's hands, the money doesn't disappear. If I gave you $1,000 a month, it probably would not make a big difference in the economy because it would just go into your account somewhere and nothing would happen. But we all know that right now, most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 57% of Americans can't afford an unexpected $500 bill. So you put $1,000 a month into their hands, it's going to go right back into the economy. They're going to spend it on food, child care, car repairs they've been putting off, the occasional night out. And then all of those businesses end up hiring more people, and then we end up getting some of the money back as tax revenues. So of the $1.8 trillion, we're going to get back, let's call it $400 billion in new tax receipts because everyone's going to be spending more money. We're going to save $100 to $200 billion on things like incarceration and homelessness services and emergency room healthcare. So if you imagine a society where everyone's getting $1,000 a month, that's it's a great incentive to try and stay out of jail because you stop getting it if you wind up in jail. And it reduces recidivism because when you come out of jail, at least you have $1,000 a month waiting for you, and then you're less inclined to commit a crime and head back in. So you're saving money on a bunch of things we spend about $1 trillion on right now, like healthcare, incarceration, homelessness services. So if you look at the cost savings and the value gains and the economic growth, that actually gets you back about $1 trillion of the 1.8. This is like the trickle up economy because none of the money disappears. It goes right back into the economy. And the way you get the last $800 billion or so is related to what we think is happening with AI and all these advanced technologies. Because if you look at who's going to win with AI and self-driving cars and trucks, the savings from robot trucks are estimated to be $168 billion a year, just from that one thing. The problem is that the American public is going to see very little of that money because the winners are going to be the trillion-dollar tech companies that are great at just not paying a lot of taxes. They'll move it through Ireland. Amazon will say didn't make any money this quarter, no reason to pay taxes. And so what we need to do is we need to put in a new tax that actually gets the American public a slice of every robot truck mile, Amazon transaction, Facebook ad. And every other industrialized country already has this tax. It's called a value-added tax. And because our economy is so vast at $20 trillion, a value-added tax at even half the European level generates about $800 billion in new revenue. And that gets you all the way there. So this is much more achievable and affordable than most people think when they start unpacking how the numbers work out.
Now, on the opposite side, it's time for Marianne Williamson. I'm sorry, Megan. It's time for Andrew Yang. Go home now, okay? And
you
just
go home now.
Quietly go home. It was nice. You could tell your mother and father you ran for president.
I will bring the math. I will be the guy who beats Donald Trump in 2020. We will take this case all the way to the White House and win because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you all very much.